ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to part 3. Hopefully it's not a part 4. My name is Conscience. You are listening to the Conscience Hip Hop Podcast. This is episode series 8, part 3. We've got my man Dean in the house. Just following up with just some of the questions we were talking about on the music side of your story. I know you kind of talked about kind of where you've evolved from musically and where you started, but where are you at now with your music? Do you have any projects going on? Are you in a transformation? Are you still, what's your official rap name now?
My official rap name is Stephen the Student, Stephen. Okay. And I put a little line over the first E just because the T.
Just for the Greek?
Nice. Yeah.
Or just for the ladies?
Yeah. Well, my wife doesn't mind it, so. So I do have some projects coming out. I'm working on a group project with KGDM Life, and then I have a solo project dropping shortly after that. I mean, it's done. I gotta record everything and make everything cleaner. But both of those are pretty much done, so they're coming out this year. And to kind of finish the evolution, man, I gotta give a shout out to D-Knock because. Last year around this time he hit me up to do one song with him, and then we did a song, and then he's like, yo, why don't you rap more? And I was like, well, I can't, I just got this bunch of excuses, and he kind of dug me out the grave, man. It was like, he was like, yo, you need to rap more. I feel like you're called for this, and he kind of just spoke life into that element of my life, and And then at the
goes
time,
back to the team thing, man.
Yeah.
Because like my boy 7J was telling me the same thing. He didn't really fully credit me about this, but he said I was a piece of basically waking him up to really go hard with the music, harder than he ever has before. And it's amazing because once you're around a group of guys that care about you and support you, it's easier to step out in faith and try some things because you feel like that you're a unit and you're a part of something bigger than just a solo mission. And I think if a lot more cats had that, not only would they be more effective, but they would be inspired and sharpened kind of in the context of fellowship, which I think something like music has always been designed to be.
Oh yeah, definitely. And songs like you just, I mean, if you think about it, like think about your favorite features. Like why are they your favorite features? This is like, cause you get like 2 or 3 or 4 or how many talented people together on the same, like, and you get to like hear them working together. So like, D-Knock got me on this song just from past music that he had heard and just little things here and there because he goes to the same studio. And we started working on a project, just him and I, and then that evolved into KGDM Life, which we'll touch on. I know we'll touch on a little bit later. But man, it's just been, just a lot of prayer, a lot of waiting. I told him no at first for like a couple
on
months.
Doing the music?
Yeah, on doing anything. And then like I talked to my wife about it, and we just felt like we were in a much better place together, that we could, do stuff where like I can step back into the music, and then on top of that, everything kind of, God just put it all together because. I started to find my voice again, not just like my lyrical voice, but like the things I needed to say, because that was something I was struggling with. Like, man, I ain't got nothing to say. I have nothing to contribute to the culture, so I don't need to make music. But then I started hearing stuff and feeling stuff like, okay, this is something I can say. This is something I can contribute. So where I'm at now, man, my project my solo project is like all over the board. It's like I've been kind of volleying with this concept of like, why does music have to be a certain way, right? Like why do raps have to be 16s, or why does it have to be like verse hook verse or hook verse hook, or why can't it be like verse hook hook bridge hook verse?
Sure.
So I'm just experimenting with a bunch of stuff, just like flexing the creative muscle, and then on top of that, like my focus is so much more pinpointed on God getting the glory and people being reached, and also being like a stepping stone to deeper music, because I feel like that's something that's something that I really have a heart for, because I guess I'm kind of bubblegum-y, but I just really want to reach the cats who won't listen to, the Conscience or the Davis Absolutes or stuff that's a lot more like theologically driven and sound. So like I like to be the stepping stone to them. It's like, you know, I do give you a good amount of God in my music, and I'm never ashamed of that. That's never not the focus, but I do give it to you in a more palatable way, in a more digestible way. Mm-hmm. And then like once you hear my music, then you're like, oh man, I want more. Then I point you to, you know, cats like yourself and cats like Uni and Artificial Christian, where it's like a lot more heavier concepts and stuff like that. So
dope, man. Excellent. Well, just to kind of piggyback on that, but take you kind of out of the lens of Stephen the student, you know, I find it interesting. One of the things we hear all too often from Christian hip hoppers is that CHH is trash.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this statement? And if so, so there's two parts to this question. Is that statement true to you? Is CHH trash? And whether or not you feel, you know, whatever, why do you think people feel that way?
Okay.
From what you've seen, not like the political answer, but what you've heard cats say.
Let me word my answer like this. There is a lot of trash in CHH. So, but I think that's true with every genre. I'm a hip hop head, Christian or non. I listen to a lot of music. I love music in general, period. Like outside of hip hop, I listen to country, I listen to jazz, I listen to, you know, EDM, I listen to indie, but I study hip hop. So there's a lot of trash in mainstream hip hop. I think people feel that way because we're dealing with a different topic, man. I mean, it's a lot easier for someone to rap about. Actually, I was just talking to D about this. It's a lot easier for people to rap about, you know, money and cars and stuff that's like instantly gratifying and all of that. And so like they have songs like, you know, This Is Why I'm Hot, or Fresh As I'm Is, or Shine Like Me, or you know, even in pop culture they have I always forget her name. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I mean, it's just like you're sending a message of like where you're at isn't good enough.
Right.
So you need this stuff to make you happy. You need the money, you need the cars, you need the clothes, you need the friends, you need to party till 2 a.m. and wake up at 4 a.m. and start partying again. And you need that life to be happy. And it's so easy to make those songs. Mm-hmm. And so when people look at Christian hip hop and they're not making those songs, it's like, oh, that's trash. Oh, that's garbage. You know, and it's tough for them to like get past the I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody, so I'm not gonna name names, but it's hard to get past certain artists to see that like, man, we got spitters. Like we have hard hitting lyricists. We have banger artists. We have cats like Eshawn Burgundy that's just like, man, it's just raw. It's like he's gonna give it to you. He's gonna talk about, you know, guns. He's gonna talk about drugs. He's gonna talk about all this stuff. It's just in a different light. He's not glorifying it, and that's the difference. And I think one of the elements, there's many, but one of the elements that people do hold on to is the fact that man, like we're countercultural. We're telling you that you don't need that money. You don't need that. And so obviously we're not going to get commercial backing because commercial like products want you to sell their product. Right. But we're telling you this product ain't going to do nothing for you, you know, unless it's you know, to make your life a little bit easier. But ultimately, like compared to what Christ gives you, compared to what God gives you, you know, it's nothing.
Yeah, all the hype is not real.
It's for naught. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's easy to like Absol is a I think a great example of a secular artist that's like people who listen to Absol probably think Christian artists are whack because he claims to be like spiritual or godly or whatever, but he's just it's straight heresy. Straight heresy. I mean, it's like I think I tweeted about this a while ago. Like, man, it would be so easy to get a bunch of followers and get people to listen to me if I just lie in all my music. Like, yeah. And that's the difference. So because we're dealing with concepts that are convicting, right, that tell you that like sometimes to tell you that the way you're living currently is wrong, of course people are going to look at that and be like, nah, that's
not the popular, that's not the sermon that people are buying the most.
And don't get me wrong, some people will slap the Christian rapper label on it and expect people to love it, even though it's trash and they don't work on their craft. And that's another huge part that irks me a little bit. God deserves better than the world does. If you're gonna be a trash artist, go be a secular artist. God deserves excellence. God deserves, working at your crafts, even if you're not my favorite rapper. Again, not to throw too much shade, but like Cannon, he's not my type of music, but I can't deny his production value. I can't deny the fact that he's put in the work and his craft
seasoning.
I mean, it's like, now is he what I'm turning on first? No, but there's still a level of excellence in his music that it's like, I can appreciate that. But some artists, it's like, oh well, I'm a Christian rapper and I do it for God, so everything's okay even if I'm not good at what I do, which is tough.
So building on that, if you could give an aspiring Christian artist some pointers how not to be whack and do it the right way in Christian hip hop, what would it be?
Patience.
Maybe give me 3 of them.
Patience would be the biggest one.
With
yourself. Don't just rush into music, put out music, and then expect it to land and expect it to be the best thing you'll ever make.
Sell as much as Lecrae.
Yeah.
Pull the rubber band back. Pew, pew, go.
Yeah, exactly. Don't expect that. Don't expect that. So patience with yourself, patience with the audience. I'm a very obscure reference type of guy. I reference Cool Runnings, and I reference surf ninjas, stuff people have probably never seen in their life, and I still reference it. It's like, man, you'll get it when you get it. I'm paying.
You'll get it when you talk to your grandfather.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of my sight.
Yeah, probably. And then check your work ethic, man. You gotta this is work. It's work. It's not. I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, and I love it. But it's work. I mean, you're putting in long hours, making beats or writing verses or recording. It's like you got to be willing to put in the work. And then to go to our point, get a body around you. Even if you're rapping by yourself. I got KGDM Life now, and we're a group of rappers. We're not a rap group, but we're a group of rappers, and we constantly bounce off each other. But even if it's not other rappers, just get a body around you that can listen to the music, can critique you honestly. I got one dude who I love to death because he always says no first. When I show him music, he's like, yo, do you like this? He's like, nah. And it's
really?
Cuz blank, and he'll give me some things, and then we'll go, and then I'll go back okay, but can you look at it like this? And it's like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, because of that, I like it. So it's but he's not a yes man.
Yeah.
He's a very much so a no man, but he's not like a hater. He's just
I got friends here, man, that they don't say it explicitly, but you can tell. I hate being a yes man, dude.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, it's hard not to imply something because we live in an implication-based society. But when it comes to being honest, I feel like a lot of times people get misunderstood because the communication isn't clear. So if I'm sending you a record, and I've learned this over the years, but even when my rapper friends send me records, I'm learning still, but I feel like I'm, as of really recently, getting around this point. But if somebody just sends me a record, I try not to automatically critique it and be like, oh, well, I like this and I don't like this. I try to just be positive about the record and say, oh, and whatever I like about the song, big up them in that regard. And I'll just refrain from my negative critique and ask for, or wait till I'm asked for criticism. And that's really helped me. But the thing that I don't like about that so far in my experience is that no one's asking for critique. And quite honestly, and I could throw myself under the bus here too, because it's not often I ask for critique. but I'm not kind of out in the arena the way I used to be,
Right.
where I'm trying to arrive somewhere. I've kind of played the background more. But like when you play it like that, man, cats don't ever say like, what do you really think about this record? Like,
Right.
what could I do better? And honestly, I think that could be to a fault to a lot of cats.
A lot of times.
And it's crazy because like here in Arizona, there's so much talent.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so they have the privilege of being around other amazing cats.
Right.
And so they kind of they wouldn't explicitly say it, but they kind of assume that they'll just fart out some excellence every time that they spit.
Every time,
or they're just really comfortable with the product that they make.
Yeah.
And I don't fault that, because I mean, these guys are amazing and they're incredible. But like when we really be honest with ourselves, man, I don't remember like a lot of cats that truthfully like regularly ask for critique. Yeah. And I'll throw myself in that bus too. Yeah. You know, I don't reach out enough and say like, you know, I kind of have certain people that I go to for critique, but I don't just like always throw myself out there to be critiqued. And I think because of that, a lot of talent has an expiration date.
Yeah.
And you know, it's
because if you're not critiquing or being critiqued, you're almost not growing. And so like
and that's always my fear, right?
Yeah.
Like you never want to go back in and make another album that somebody could assumed that you were going to make.
Yeah. And I think that's a big part of that third point where it's like, man, get a body around you and ask for critique with it.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like with my homie, that I always
because most people won't really. Like the guy that you have that'll tell you no. You probably don't have many like that. That are just explicitly unadulterated. No. Yeah, I don't feel that.
Right.
Most people will probably tell you this is dope.
And the thing about that guy, that no man, we're homies. We're close. So like I know that he's not like hating. He's not like trying to bring me down. He's honestly trying to make my music better. And we talk about music all the time. And he's honestly saying like, hey, this can be done better. But like, and at the end, like a lot of times he'll be like, you know, that's good. That works. And that, you know, or could you change this little part because I feel like that would work better. And sometimes I take it and sometimes I don't. But that's the benefit of having a wider range of counsel of like different cats to bounce off of, because I'm gonna get different answers from everybody.
Right.
I kind of pull it all together and find that happy medium, and then
and there's a balance there. You know, a lot of people would say, "Well, I know where I'm at in the direction I want to go with my music."
Yeah.
Hey, amen. But get a second opinion.
Right.
Get a third, fourth, fifth opinion.
Because that's not gonna change the direction.
Yeah, and like sift through material. Like you know what I'm saying? Like take everything in and examine the validity of what you feel is necessary.
Right.
But don't not subject yourself to the critique, because and again, I think what it really comes down to is find people's opinion that matters to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that makes all the difference in your approach.
And there's certain things that you could be doing that's not necessarily wrong, but it's like a trend and it's like a repetitive that people could break you of without even like thinking about it.
Right.
Like I was thinking, I know I sent you a song, Eye for Eye, a while ago, and the version you sent back was altered from the version I sent you in a good way, and it kind of made me think like, oh man, I do this formula on all of my songs, right? Where it's like I rap like for the hooks, I rap a little and then I get some mad repetitive.
Okay.
And so I sent you that version, right?
Yeah.
I rapped a little and then I sent you eye for eye, eye for eye, eye for eye, and then you sent me back where it was like something completely different, and you touched eye for eye a couple times, and it was like, man, that's so dope, because it's like it like switches it up and it makes you like want to be engaged with the hook more. And so like stuff will be exposed to you that you're not necessarily doing wrong. Can I make something that's like rap really repetitive every hook? Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
And it's not bad, it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I remember when you sent me that hook, I was like, what needs to happen to this?
Yeah.
I thought it was dope the way it was. Yeah. But then you were like, well, no, I just want to see what you would do with it. And so
and it was very, very like it was like, man. And so like that's what I think people are afraid, because art is so personal, man. When you write music.
Oh yeah, and even if we're being honest with ourselves, when somebody gives you a critique that's negative, It
always hurts.
It hurts.
Always.
Especially, you want to be humbled real quick. Right. Go get married.
Oh, bro.
And show your wife your music.
Bro, if you're a hip hop artist, marry someone who's not in the hip hop culture. Bro, it's so beautiful because my wife's just not a part of it, and like she'll tell me stuff that's like, yo, this is not good.
That's a good conversation for us to have sometime down the road, is just like funny scenarios that our wives tell us about our music and stuff. Because they care, but there's a certain level of seriousness that they just can't identify with the craft. So they're just trying to be on board with you as best as they can.
Oh, but those situations are hilarious.
Your wife ever try to rap lyrics to you from like your past?
My wife knows my lyrics better than I do. Like she will drop lines on me all the time of my past, and I'm like, dang. But it's beneficial because sometimes I'll be going up for a show and I'll be forgetting my lyrics, and then she's like, yo, this is how that song starts, and that's all you need.
Wow,
you only need the first two bars, and
that's
then like,
I need to ask my wife to learn my Insomniac 2 project.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, you started it like this, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then once you got that start, you got the rest of the song. But my wife helps me out a lot with that. But it's a double-edged sword because sometimes she'll be using it against me. I'm like,
our wives are quick to go rogue and straight diss us.
Man.
Word. So, real quick, tell us a little bit about what people should know about Kingdom Life.
Kingdom Life, yeah. So that's where I'm currently at now. It's not a label. It's not a rap group. It's a group of rappers that we're all pretty much independent at one point. I know D-Knock has been rapping for a very long time. It's comprised. Is that the right word? It's me, D-Knock, John Masick, Ray Free, and then a soul singer named James Kelly. And it's a group of brothers, man. It's really cool how it kind of like all fell into place. We're all crazy different. I mean, like crazy different. Like I guess D and I are probably the closest, and then next would be Masick, and then or next would be Kelly actually, and then maybe Masick and Ray Free are kind of evenly like different from us. So like, but it's just like, man, we're all crazy different. We all have crazy different walks of life and different backgrounds and different like situations, and we rap and sing way different from each other. Like Masick is very much like the rock rap, and Ray Free is like a little bit of like the nerd, like, you know, he'll talk about Game Boys and stuff in his music, and then, you know, D and I guess talk to like the streets, I guess, a little bit more, you know, and so we're a group that we all have a heart for making music for God first and foremost, and then different elements of the church that we feel like can use more contributions to, and that's not saying there's not enough out there, or that's not a diss to anybody, but like one of the examples that we were thinking is like when the Craig put Rebel out, he was talking to a very specific part of the church, right? There was a lot of church talk in it, and since then, you know, you got the KB who still speaks to the church. You got a lot of cats that do, but there's just since Lecrae is kind of, you know, catapulted to where he's at now, and he's working with cats on a different level. It's like I feel like that you can still get edification from that, but like there's people who I feel like are kind of falling to the wayside, like kind of falling out, like, oh, well, he's not talking to me. He's talking to Ty Dolla $ign, or he's not talking to me. He's talking to, you know what I mean? Like
literally, he's talking to Ty Dolla $ign.
Or Chief Keef, like he ain't talking to me. Whereas Rebel, it felt like he was talking to you. And so like, we all found our unique voices, you know, independently. We all found our unique audiences independently. And then when we come together, it's like something different, because we're all vastly different, bro. Like it's just like almost like we don't belong together. Like seriously, like we are borderline like, how on earth do these people even meet, let alone start doing music together? And so it's such a blessing, because it keeps everyone humble. It keeps everyone kind of like out of their comfort zone. So like I'm talking to an audience that I wouldn't normally talk to, and you know Masick's talking to an audience that I wouldn't normally talk to, and James is, you know, singing that to all of our audiences as well as his audience. So it's just such a cool element. And so Kingdom Life started as a ministry from D-Knock and his wife. They would do art, music, and then homeless ministries where they would not only feed the homeless, but they would also clothe the homeless, and so they would have drives and all that. And so then certain circumstances that I don't feel like I'm at the liberty to disclose. There it is. Happened, so they started focusing on music a lot more, and so D-Knock started doing his projects a lot more, and that's when he brought me in, and that's when we met and all that now. And then so it's still a ministry. First and foremost, Kingdom Life is a movement and a ministry where it's like we want to be very much so like 116 kind of thing, where it's like we're focused on the youth, and we band people together under like one banner that they can be proud of. Like we live in the kingdom now. God is on his throne now. Christ is at his throne now. Like right. Coming back, yes, all that. But we're preparing the kingdom. We're at war for the kingdom now. And so it's not something that we need to look in the future like, oh, when I'm older or in the future when Christ comes back we'll start the war. It's like, no, we're part of it now.
Some work to be done now.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like the banner that we fly, and our most of our main focus is on youth. I'm a little bit more like the transition between youth and adulthood in my personal music, but Kingdom Life as a group is focused on the youth, is focused on the church specifically, whereas again my music is more focused from the church than for the church. But Kingdom Life is very focused on the church and the youth because we just feel like they can be engaged a lot more. We all have expressed in some degree how much the youth we feel like isn't being engaged on a full level. It's very like cookie cutter and surfacing. A lot of people play down the youth's intelligence. Yeah. Play them like
see that a lot,
and that's heartbreaking because I
think sometimes unintentionally.
Yeah, very much so unintentionally, and it's no slight to any church that does that, but we do believe that the church is giving a lot less than public schools are. Because public schools, man, those playgrounds is where I learned everything. That's where I learned how to sell drugs. Like that was 6th grade. I learned I wasn't yet, but like I still like learned the hustle. And so, and like the church isn't really, a lot of times we feel like it's not competing to that same intellectual challenging level, where they can really be engaged and be challenged and be, be responsible for something. So that's what we try to do in our music. We try to relate to the youth and try to give them something to edify them, challenge them, build them up, sustain them, be something that they can show their homies like, yo, this is dope music, first and foremost. Yeah. And then on top of it, the message behind it is a more edifying than like, Panda.
Word. That's awesome, man. Now, just to point to the future real quick, what can we expect from Kingdom Life and musically, and what can we expect from you musically in the future? What do you got in the works?
So like I touched on it a little bit earlier.
You got the project you're working on now. Is that a collective project?
Yes. Or, okay. So I'm working on 2 projects personally. I got the collective project, and then I got my solo project. The collective project is, and I'm gonna put out a date, which is gonna kind of put us under the fire, but I like that. It should be June 21st. Okay. We should be dropping the Kingdom Life project. That's pretty close. Yeah. So it's pretty much done. There's some transitioning that we're doing.
Self-titled project?
It's yes, I believe so. Okay. Yeah. So.
And then does your project have a concept and the whole nine?
My project does kind of have a concept. The concept of it is kind of death to life. A lot of different things that I've been through, including one of the big part of my story was when I was TR and the foolishness I was getting into there, and then the transition into Stephen, and then also like just different things that I've been through as be outside of rap and just life in general. So my project is very much like my story from death to life, and then my included in that is like when I stopped rapping to when I started rapping, or before I was married to when I was married, and before I was living for God to when I was living for God. Like it encompasses so much, and it's got a lot of layers to it. But that's going to be vastly different than the group project. The group project is very much like a performance project.
Yeah, and with all that style and stuff, it's bound to be something different.
Whereas mine is very, very low key.
And that one's probably going to come out later.
Yeah, so I'm aiming for December for that one.
So, well, we'll definitely be on the lookout for that, and I'd love to help you promote that when it comes time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yo, man, so far we super appreciate you just diving into all these. We're jumping over a lot of puzzle pieces here to your life, and I appreciate you for sharing that. As we kind of come to a close here, I want to give people a little bit more. I know you told us your testimony, which kind of gave us a lens to your personal life and with the game show a little bit, but I want to talk about a side as far as manhood is concerned, that, you know, as we kind of come to a close here, we don't have to talk in super depth, but I'd love for you to just drop some quick gems for the audience as we come to a close. I got a couple questions to you about marriage.
Okay.
So, and again, like, for those of you who don't know, definitely stay tuned to Sweat City and Kingdom Life. I've seen a lot of these dudes perform and work on stuff, and even on the media production side, I've seen a lot of your work, and I'm definitely behind it. We'll give you the proper time at the end here to plug everything, so people can definitely plug in. But this is definitely kind of a long process in the making. That's kind of just now starting to really take some sterner direction. So now I only know a few married dudes out there who have like 3 or more kids.
I'm in that list.
So, real quick, could you just maybe tell some folks, how difficult is it balancing your family, your work, and your passions with such a big family, which typically means a lot more priorities going on.
Responsibilities.
What do you?
Yeah. So. I think the biggest difficulty is getting people who are not married and don't have kids to understand how valuable your time is. And like, I don't say that as like, I need to be respected and my time is, it's not like that. It's like every minute literally that I'm not at home, I'm missing opportunities to shepherd my family.
Right, it needs to mean something.
Yes, it like this is a perfect example, because this is very beneficial, I feel like, to the culture, to myself, and my family included. It just, the promotion helps, the conversation helps, and sometimes it just helps to talk and clear my head. So but after this, I'm going to work, and it's a Saturday. So, and I work Monday through Friday, but sometimes I pick up shifts on Saturday. So, like, getting non-married, non-kid having people to understand, like, hey, I'm doing this, a lot of times for very cheap or sometimes free, very rarely free, but I'm doing this to serve you. And so, being on time is necessary. Getting stuff done in a timely manner. Yeah, planning is necessary, because I don't want to be wasting any more time. And I think you said the phrase that like made my wife fall in love with you. It was like, we need to help my wife enjoy me doing this as much as I do, because if I'm out here and I'm spending extra time out here for nothing, my wife is going to start resenting it. She's going to start hating it. And so like,
oh yeah, you're talking about the idea that your wife needs to feel like she's being enjoyed in a relatively more degree than what you're putting your effort into. Yeah, for sure. That was big. And so getting people to realize that it's tough. Also just like sleep. That's tough. Sleep, because sometimes I'm editing video until 2 a.m. I try to explain that to my wife all the time, man. It's just like, unfortunately, as much as our wives tell us that we can do stuff during the day and plan to mingle and stuff like that, oftentimes it winds up being a thing that challenges you. You got to get a lot of stuff done in the evening time because there's so much priority in the day. And it's hard to balance it out because there isn't enough time.
I know.
And you got 3 kids, so there really isn't enough time. And so you wind up being a graveyard shift dream chaser, or you
a weekend warrior.
Weekend warrior, or you put yourself to sleep and let the dreams fall to the wayside. And I think there's some wisdom in both, but
Yeah.
You know, especially for young guys, it's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy because this is an area of life that a lot of guys our age just simply aren't trained in.
Right. And nothing really can prepare you for. I mean, like going to school, you go to school 8 hours a day and then you're done. Then you do your homework and you're done. And like even
family
jobs,
man can't ever really clock out.
Right. Yeah. And I heard something. I forgot who it was. It was a producer, but he was talking about every time his kid walks into his room while he's producing, he stops. Oh, it was Kirk Franklin. He was talking about every time his kid walks into the room, he stops doing what he's doing. Because at the end of the day, my kids are my top priority. Like, you know, sorry to the music, sorry to the, sorry your video was like 10 minutes extra late. Like, like I'm spending that time with my children and my family. So, like, that's really tough to budget my time. So, yeah.
So, just to build on that for a quick moment, I'll give you a minute if you need. You know, you talked about people kind of understanding your world a little bit and the wishing that were the case more often. What is one big thing, just one, that you've learned as you've navigated through being a husband, a father, and a believer that's helped you move more effectively? What's like one of the top key ingredients for you that's really just as you've put it into your practice, man, I've been able to be a great father and husband and do some things that I'd like because I've put this in place in my life?
So I actually just said the word, but I could sum it up in one word. It's budget.
Okay.
Because
now, are we talking financial?
See, that's the thing with budget. Initially you think financial, but you budget whether you think about it or not. You budget everything. You budget your time, you budget your energy, and you budget your finances. So when I started to learn, I got on Dave Ramsey's financial piece, back in November, December, and when I started that, everything started to fall into place because I started to budget my finances. And then that spilled over to my time. That spilled over to my energy. So once I learned, like, this is, I've been married 7 years.
Yeah.
This is just November. So, like, I think once that hit, and like, it shaped Sweat City. It shaped my music. It shaped, the time I get with my kids, my work, it just put a lot into perspective. So like, and I would seriously suggest this for anybody. Budget. Learn how to budget your money.
Yo, my wife, it's so funny. I amen that all the way because it was funny. My wife, we don't follow a ton of Dave Ramsey, but we definitely do the envelope thing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so she has colored envelopes for cash. And dudes will see her at like a grocery store pull out a Ziploc bag full of envelopes, and they'll be dumbfounded.
Yeah, bro.
Like, and one day I think we went to Safeway together, and this kid was like, I have never seen somebody carry their money like that.
Yeah.
Or we were at Target or something, and a lady had mentioned it, and it's different for people to do, but when you, I think when it comes to money and time and energy, we choose to not see every detail of what's going on because we don't, at the end of the day, we don't really want to be accountable for all of it. Because if we're honest with ourselves, we waste a lot of time, we waste a lot of money.
We waste a lot of energy.
And so when we do it for that quick satisfaction or the stupidness, we don't want to be held accountable. We don't want to be reminded how dumb we are in the areas that we are. And
then I think my biggest problem with the budget thing was like, I would tell my wife before, my wife obviously is a huge part of my testimony, a huge part of my life. I would tell my wife, I don't want to be on an allowance. I'm a grown man. I make money. Blah,
I want to freestyle. I want to do me.
I don't want to be on an allowance. You're not giving me like a budget. You're not giving me my allowance for the month. Like, nah, that's not what it's about at all. At all. I was so like misguided. It's like nah. It's just shepherding. It's just like figuring out the best way to because like now we're on a plan to, be in a lot better position when we're 45 than my parents or like, it's just like, or that we were, 7 months ago.
Right.
The track that we were on 7 months ago was more debt and like still like figuring out why we don't have enough time to spend with each other and why my kids are acting crazy with her but not with me. It's like man, everything falls into place once you start budgeting.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, praise God for our wives.
Praise God for our wives, bro.
Because
praise God, we need
they're the reason why we clean up, we shave, we put deodorant on, we budget, we think more clearly. We're not walking around like cavemen. Praise God for our wives.
Everything I'm wearing right now is from my wife.
That's what's up, man. Dude,
it's mad.
That's so awesome, man. I think people could definitely pick up from that, just some gems. Now, just for the sake, I want to kind of end on a bright note here. For the sake of helping a lot of the single dudes out there who desire to be married and to have children, what are some of the greatest joys of being a parent?
Oh my goodness. It gives me chills just from that question, bro. I love my kids so much. The first time you hear your kids say "I love you" is it's untouchable. It's just such a weird and my oldest doesn't say it as much, but he shows it in different ways, and then my youngest boy says it all the time, bro. All the time. He sees, "Hi, I love you, Dad." I'm like, "Oh, man, my man." And then my daughter's just starting to form that. She's just, "Hi, Dad." Every time she hears the door, I can hear her behind the door every time I start to put my key in the door. "Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad." Man, it's just and then when they surprise you with stuff, the other day, this was a little while ago, both my boys were sitting on the couch, and my youngest boy was acting buck, and my oldest kid was like, yo, God wouldn't be happy with this. and I
pulled the Bible card on his head,
bro, he did. And so I'm almost entering the room, and I hear this conversation go down, and I'm like, yeah, you better let them know. It's they just pull it out you don't think they're listening. You don't think that they're actually absorbing what you're.
But they're smart.
But they're so smart, and they're so spongy. It's sometimes in bad ways. My oldest said "F you." I don't know if you need to edit that out. But
this is life.
This is life. Yeah, bro. Because his uncle was listening to something or something.
He said that to you?
He was like, "Dad, F you," and I was
casually?
Yes. He didn't say the actual word. He literally said the letter F and then you. But I was like, nope, can't say that.
Get those cheeks out.
And then his uncle was like, that's my fault. I'm so sorry. He was apologizing. He's like, Elijah, you can't say that. You can't. And it's they just surprise you what they absorb, and it's something new every day, man. Good or bad. Sometimes you look back at the stuff that were bad at the time. It's man, that's so funny. Golly, those kids.
God, how did I survive?
Yeah, bro. Oh man, it's just hilarious. And all the times they get hurt, and holding them while they're crying and holding them while they're happy, and it's just you get a small picture of what I assume, and not to make this dangerous assumptions, but God's love for us. It's man, he just wants to hold us when we're crying, and he wants to hold us when we're happy. He doesn't want us to just come to him when we're sad, but when they're having a great day and they're just "Dad, let me tell you about something I did." That relationship is unmatched. And,
right.
And man, it's just a beautiful thing. And then having a partner that you can experience it all with, is just lay in bed together at the end of the night and just talk about how stupid your kids are, not in a dumb way, but it's the silly stuff that they do. It's just the whole element of it is crafted to perfection. And God just got it right.
Yeah, he did, man. The family is it's untouchable, man, when it comes to value. I mean, it just is a great picture of just God's goodness, man. A life partner and children to shepherd up in his image that will then grow up to live well in your name and in his name. And yeah, dude, it's special, man. I'm on my way. I got the boy in September.
I'm so excited for you, bro.
Dude,
I'm so excited for you.
I might have to get some overalls or something.
I got my dad jeans, bro. You better know. I'm already trying to embarrass my oldest kid because he he messed up the other day. He was like, Dad, you're embarrassing me. I was like, bro, you just opened the can. Now I know I can embarrass you. Let's go.
I'm excited, man, and I love seeing like young families, man. It's special because we just live in a culture where everybody has a 5-year extension to everything. Well, I turned 18. Well, give me 5 years and then I'll turn into an adult.
Yep.
You're in college. Well, give me 5 more years so I can really know what I want to do.
Yep.
Give me 5 more years and I'll stop dating and I'll think about marriage. Give me another 5 years to test the car before I drive it, before I buy it. Give me another 5 years before I become a man, and keep a job. It's just like, everybody's prolonging everything, and on top of that, when they finally commit to something, it's half butt, and the marriage rate's over 50% or something. You know what I'm saying?
Divorce
it's just
rate,
the divorce rate.
It's crazy, bro.
And so
that's why we're celebrating. So this is our 7th year of marriage, and we're going to Disneyland for our anniversary because this is like our beat the statistics here. Because when we got married, at the age we got married, statistically speaking, it was like 50% 2-year divorce rate, and then like a 75% 6-year divorce rate.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
75?
It was crazy because like we were 20 when we got married, and then and it was like 2010 or something like that. So man, it's just like we looked at those statistics like, man, we got to beat that. Like, not only do we, not just for the thing, it was like, we got to beat it with grace. We got to beat it with flying colors. Like, and God has to be the center, because that's the only way two people can stay together.
There's you're serving yourself for someone else or God, and it's just like, man. When you look at these marriage stories, you definitely say to yourself, God has to be the center of it, because I can definitely say, my wife and I, we haven't been married for 7. We've been married for a little over 3, but we've been together for 7 years, and it's just like, when I think about the type of challenges that came into my mind dating my wife, and then the challenges that came into my wife committing to marriage, and then the challenges that came with family dynamic, and then the challenges that came with keeping marriage, and just the newness of everything, and discipline and growth and building a future. There's so many challenges that push you against push you to go with the odds of the world, and it's just hard to navigate through. And when I truly look back at all the things that I've been through, it's a God story, man. It's like, okay, God's grace just was literally like that, what's that called, that ACL challenge or whatever. Or what's the bucket the ice bucket challenge?
Ice bucket,
It's like he drenches us in grace, and not only that, but then he, like, we get this undeserving favor, and then he builds us into something pleasing to himself,
which is amazing. But
which is
like,
just,
it's not like just pleasing to itself, but it's a like a macaroni poster. It's like it's pleasing to him because it's German engineering. Like it's like you're an Audi driving around. Like after you go through these transformations, you're just like so much more. Yeah, bro.
It's awesome, man. Well, again, we appreciate having you. I'm not going to take too much of your time. This is going to be a long podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is reminiscent of my Josh podcast, my AV podcast. I think you've officially topped it at pushing almost 2 hours. And I'm gonna release every bit of it with no shame. So those of you who have extra minutes on your phone, got some Ethernet cable for some nice internet, sit back with some popcorn. I've really been blessed by just hearing your story, and I've learned more about you here as well, and that's been a blessing to me. I think people are really gonna be touched by not only your testimony, but God's work in, around you, and through you. And I just appreciate you being transparent, because a lot of people want to tell a success story, or they just want to talk about the bad as if there's something cool about that. They just don't want to throw it all out there, so that for the sake of people not only being able to relate, but to see how nothing you are and how much of that God is. So, again, I'm sure we share that our desire is that people would know Christ, and that the people that know Christ would be equipped and encouraged to keep pressing on and to know that there's more joy ahead in Christ if you would just choose to chase after him and not after things. Yes, and all of these great things, the kids, the wife, the career, the craft, the hobbies, the wiring as a man, all pale in comparison to Christ and are just extensions of God's goodness to us. And so we hope you guys were encouraged by this and just get a real well-rounded picture of the life of this brother, man. Thank you so much for coming. Real quick, before we wrap up, shout out real quick to the people where they can find your crafts stuff and your social media.
Okay, so sweatcity.com is still up. It needs to be taken down, revamped, and put back up, but because it's still on our promotion side, but that will be up. Here in the
Sweat City, SWEST.com.
And the name comes from Southwest City. So if you can remember that, Southwest City, Sweat City.
And if you forget it, just go to Dean's Instagram and he'll be saying it a lot.
All the time. And so that's become like a tagline on accident. My son actually came up with that, so that was cool. And then Instagram, Sweat City. I think it's one word, @Sweat City. That's me. And then from that, you'll be able to find my artist stuff as well, because I'm going to be linking to that here in the near future when I get
Stephen the Student, STEFEN the Student.
Yeah, is that it on Instagram? I think that is.
Yeah, and if you type it in, it will say Dean.
Yeah,
I think it'll show like both names.
Yeah, cool.
And you can put that in on Facebook as well.
Yeah. So all of that. I think Instagram is the easiest way to follow me because I'm the most active on there because I just feel like it's the friendliest social media and I'm very positive. I can't deal with all that stress. So Instagram Sweat City, Instagram Stephen the Student.
Awesome. Well, hey, we appreciate you guys. This is a monstrous episode 8 with Dean here. I appreciate your time. Guys, make sure you can catch this podcast mainly on YouTube, but also you can catch all of the content, including all of the podcasts. And a lot of people don't know this, but when I say the podcast is on my website, it is great because you can catch the docu-series, the podcast series, and all the music on the front page. This isn't a website that you go to, you gotta click around and find things. If you just start from the top and scroll down, you will see the news, the current news you need to be informed about, the music. You'll catch a full playlist of every podcast episode, so you can literally scroll through them like a jukebox and play each one. And every time a new episode comes in, that's the first episode that will play when you click play on the playlist. Watch the docu-series, and also, as most people don't know, I do album reviews, interviews, and promote Local Cats' music on it because it's also a blog site. So I do blogging regularly there as well. And everything circulates through the page, so my desire is that you would go there because it's the one-stop shop where you don't have to check every individual social media page. You can always get it all in one place. So if you want to check it out more specifically, you can go to YouTube if you want, or if you want the inside scoop on everything going on, including the podcast, feel free. I've already put everything on the front page right now. If you go there, you'll see the podcast. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. Episode 9, I believe, is going to be gospel-y, but I don't want to put that in stone yet because I totally just realized today we're only on episode 9. I thought he was going to be episode 10. So we might have to rearrange that a little bit. But guys, thank you so much. My name is Conscience. You are listening to the Conscience Hip Hop Podcast. We are signing off. Peace.